Hey everybody, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we're the Movie Bros.
Coming at you from Sinopolis here in San Mateo. We got a special sponsorship for this one. Jeremy, who are we sponsored by?
That's right. This episode is sponsored by us. If you could do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. It really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. So let's get into it. Today, we saw the movie Nobody.
Wait, who?
Nobody, yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, Nobody.
Yeah, all right.
Spencer, what'd you think?
So this was a pretty interesting movie. This one was directed by Ilya Naishuller, written by Derek Kolstad, and the movie centers around Bob Odenkirk, who plays the character Hutch Mansell. So Hutch is kind of this nobody. I mean, he's a guy, you see him goes through his daily life.
Yeah.
He's just kind of going through the motions. Drinks his coffee, makes breakfast for his kids, goes to work, punches in, punches out, regular 9 to 5,
Yep.
comes home, rinses, repeats, does it all over again.
Yeah.
The man's life seems pretty boring, but
Really average.
very average. He's nobody.
Nobody. He's nobody.
But, you know, everybody has bad days. And one day, Hutch kind of has a bad day, and you find out that Hutch is not just nobody. Hutch has a past, like many of us, and Hutch's past involves, for more or less, kind of being a secret agent of sorts.
Yeah, being an auditor, as he describes it.
Yes.
Which is the last person you want to see when any of the big 3-letter agencies has an issue with something you've done.
I mean, it's the last, IRS. It's the last person I want to see.
Yeah,
I don't
always.
want the
I never
auditor.
want to see the IRS.
Well, they send an auditor, and then you're very upset.
And in this case, I would be really upset if I saw him as well.
I think I would too. Hutch is kind of badass. I mean, I knew a little bit about this movie going in. Normally, I'm not quite as in tune, and I expected a kind of mindless action movie. And as much as it was an action movie through and through, I was genuinely surprised by this one.
I agree. I thought the movie had, and this is something that we talk about, it had enough of a background story.
Yes.
Gave a little bit of background, just enough, not too much.
Yeah.
It had enough action to be considered an action movie.
Oh, definitely.
But it had enough storyline to keep you entertained and not just mindless action.
Right. No, I was really impressed. I mean, so this one comes in at around 90 minutes of time, and I think that it almost felt like I got more of a story than that. I was very impressed. I looked at the kind of like the information afterwards, and I saw it was only 90 minutes, and it felt like we were in there, and I got like this full
hours,
story.
yeah.
I thought I was there for a couple hours.
Yeah. But seriously, this is the kind of, it was a realistic fighting,
Yeah.
I thought. It was, if you were a badass and you could fight, this is the way you would envision a real fight being. Like, you get tired, but you keep
get
going.
hit. Like, it's not perfect fighting. You're
Yes.
gonna get injured. Like,
Yeah.
injuries are part of the business. Like,
Yeah.
you just gotta push through and persevere.
Yeah, so for me, there was a realist aspect to it that I really enjoyed. I liked the story. I liked the amount of action that it had. And I felt like there was some realism in it. You know, if I was a super, I don't know, an
badass,
auditor.
like spy. Yeah.
If I was an auditor for one of those agencies and I could fight and beat people up and stuff, this is how I would envision that kind of fighting breaking down.
Yeah, I do
some
appreciate
respects.
exactly what you're saying. I agree. The kind of sense of realism that you get from this, it's not perfect. It's not just like some martial arts master who's kicking everybody's ass and isn't able to get injured himself. No, he fights and like he's gonna get injured.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, you look at it, he's a little bit older, he's past his prime. I think it takes into account the story of this character very well.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned John Wick because I was actually going to liken it to that movie.
Yeah.
It is basically John Wick with more backstory. And it's funny because I love John Wick. I think the whole trilogy is
Of
fantastic. one is probably
The best one?
I don't know.
I
I don't know.
like 3 too.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're all pretty good. One probably doesn't set up his story the most though, whereas this I actually got more of the backstory for the character and made me care a little bit more. I thought this was surprisingly good.
Yeah, I felt myself rooting for him
Yes.
in the movie, and I liked that he took his lumps, but he kept on going, kept on ticking.
Right, and that's what those people are trained to do. You know, it's not about, you know, they try to mitigate damage as much as possible, but at the same time, like, you're gonna get damage, and it's about persevering through that. Like I said.
Yeah, you know, he gets punched in the face a couple
Gets punched
times,
in the face.
but he gets back up.
I was just saying,
going.
knock me down, but get back up.
Yes. Yeah, and I love that tenacity and grit that not everybody has it, and I love that his character really had this. And you could tell he was kind of out of practice.
Yes.
I think
yes.
that's a good way of saying it.
Especially in the beginning, yes.
He was out of practice. He was kind of getting back into the groove, and I felt like the movie was entertaining. It kept me captivated. I wasn't bored. It was the right length.
Right.
I love the way it looked. There was some comedy in it too, like just the right amount.
Yes.
There was moments that made me laugh. I thought it was really a good, well-rounded movie. I think that's a good way of saying it without giving anything away.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, we're not really spoiling anything. You know it's an action movie if you've seen the trailer or if you've heard anything about this movie. I agree with Jeremy. Very well rounded. It had just the right amount of kind of everything. A little bit of comedy. There were a few minutes that I genuinely laughed out loud in the movie theater.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't take itself too seriously, but seriously enough where like the story is believable. It was interesting and engaging. One thing that I really appreciated was the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oftentimes with these action movies, something that can kind of get you enthusiastic and really jazzed up about it is having a good soundtrack to it, and they just hit it at every point. Like, there are moments where there's kind of like funny moments with the soundtrack, and there's high energy moments where they like pick very good songs to correspond with some of the fight scenes.
I thought that the story was really well conceived, really well executed. I love the way it looked, the way it felt. I didn't get nauseous from, jittery hand movement in the filming. I really liked the movie.
I agree.
Anything else you want to say about it?
No, I think we should get right to grading.
Okay, I really enjoyed this movie. I think this is probably the best movie we've seen so far this year, post-pandemic. I mean, it's only March.
True.
And or maybe close.
I was saying, I really appreciated the last one that we saw, the Courier. I thought that was a very good movie as well.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Courier, make sure you go out and see it.
Yeah.
I really like this movie a lot. It really resonated with me. I love action films, and so this was something that I really enjoyed. I'm going to give this one an 8.5.
So I agree with Jeremy through and through. I mean, there's sometimes we feel differently about movies, but this one was a slam dunk. It was 90 minutes of pure fun. It really set up the story well. I was never bored. I never had a dull moment. I just wanted more and more of the story, and it comes to a perfect end. It doesn't try to do more than it should. It's got the nice blend of comedy, action, a little bit of seriousness. I think this was just a really well-rounded, fun action movie. Don't go expecting an Academy Award winner. Understand what you're going to go see. You're going to go see an action movie.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great fun movie. You need to check this out in theaters. Nobody. I'm going to give it an 8.
All right, so you guys started here on the Movie Bros.
Yeah. Hey, thank you guys for watching very much. Again, please tell if there's anything you want us to see or anything that you're interested in. We love to see things. We're so happy to be back in theaters, and we're excited to bring you a lot of content. We're going to try to come out with you with our top 10 movie list soon and let you know what we're excited to see later this year.
Till then, Movie Bros out.